As I told you, these videos are really disturbing. There are two videos here from the same segment. This is the ever hapless Brian Stelter, who, listen, I don't like the guy, obviously. It's a long story why. I don't want to bore you with the details, but he's just not a good guy. I mean it. He's just not a good guy. There are a lot of people I disagree with politically who are decent people. They just have really bizarre ideas. I'm not kidding. Like, I did a lot of work at CNN before, and not everyone there is a total jerk. A lot of them are, but not all of them. Joe, so you've heard me, Joe, right? Talk about that. Or some of them were like, we would sit in a green room and argue about stuff all day, but Stelter is not one of those people. He's just a really genuinely awful human being. And he's what would be classified by the old Soviets as a useful idiot. Someone not bright enough to figure out he's being used by tyrants to usher in an era of tyranny and an evaporation of civil liberties. He's not smart enough to figure that out. I want to show you two devastating segments. He had this awful new liberal tyrant who somehow made it into Congress. Sarah Jacobs, I think her name is, a Democrat from California, who suggests, Joe, where could this possibly go wrong? A new truth commission sponsored by the government, because that's never gone wrong, right? Truth tribunals, star chambers, that's never gone wrong throughout human history. You know what it reminds me of, Joe? I know you're not Joe's a big music guy, but he's not a big movie guy. Mm-hmm. Guy, Paula, maybe you can interject. Guy is our wonderful new addition to the show. Does everybody remember The Dark Knight Rises? And there's this scene where the Scarecrow, when they take over Gotham, he's sitting on the elevated platform and he has the tribunals, and it's like everybody's guilty and has to go walk into the icy Gotham River. Remember that? It's like everyone's guilty no matter what. Like there's no defense. Like guilty. And he's like, the one guy's like, am I not guilty? No, you're definitely guilty. Like, that's what this tribunal is going to turn into. That's why this is a really crappy, I was going to say something else, idea. But not to Sarah Jacobs, who's not smart enough to read a history book, and Brian Stelter's not smart enough to do anything. Check out video number 1 from this clip, where, again, this new liberal tyrant elected to Congress somehow, Sarah Jacobs, wants a truth commission. Here is the Scarecrow of our time. Check this out.
Also said in an interview with the 19th news website this week that the country needs a truth commission. What exactly would a truth commission be?
So I think part of what we're seeing now is because we haven't really done the reckoning with the racial injustice and white supremacy of our past that we need to do. And so, a truth commission, a lot of people will think of South Africa. We've used them in countries around the world. And basically what it is it's communities all the way up to the national level having conversations about both the gory and the glory of our history and what happened both throughout the history of our country and leading up to and on January 6th, so that we can come to a common narrative moving forward of what we want our country to be.
Okay, couple takeaways here, Joe. Hold it in. We don't want projectile vomiting on the show, at least not on camera. It'd be gross. Plus, with your technical setup over there, you knock that camera down, it's over, as you well know. Yeah. Joe's got a very sophisticated zoom lens on that camera. Inside Joe. Yeah. One day we'll tell you. Maybe we'll start giving tours to the studio one day. But takeaway number 1, something I brought up before in kind of our little tease for the segment there was, does Brian Stelter not see the irony of being a media person who has a show called Reliable Sources? That's the actual name of Stelter's show, Reliable Sources. Does he not see the irony of doing a show as a news representative of the media who their sole, Joe, correct, their one job is to tell you the truth and the facts? That's what reporting and journalisming is?
Yep.
He has a show called Reliable Sources where he has a person with serious power, a congresswoman in the United States of America, and a big megaphone. He has a congresswoman on suggesting a government-sponsored, truth commission? Because people like Brian Stelter can't actually do their job despite hosting a show called Reliable Sources. Is this not the epitome of a useful idiot? He doesn't even get it. How his show, a show that's supposed to tell the truth, can't tell the truth. So then liberal tyrants take advantage of the fact that they can't tell the truth by recommending government propaganda bureaus called truth commissions. And Stelter nods his head in approval. Sounds good to me. What an idiot. Might not, to everyone here, poll. Now we have a big sample size here. Is anyone not getting this, Guy? Are you understand? Geek Paula, thumbs up from Paula. Joe, are you not seeing? He has a show called Reliable Sources, and he needs a congresswoman to propose a truth commission. And hi, this is Clyde. What an idiot!
True.
Second part of that, which is unintentionally hilarious, is this confused congresswoman. How she made it into Congress, I have no idea. It is California, though. Not a knock on my conservative friends in California, but some really strange birds have been elected in California. She suggests with a straight face, Joe, that as America, we have yet to reckon with white supremacy. Have you read like one textbook ever? Like every textbook is written by Zinn or someone else. They don't even like focus on the good stuff. Everything is America sucks. America's racist. What textbooks are you reading? Are you nuts? Have you ever read a history book? Oh my gosh. Now, here's Stelter. Again, one of the biggest useful idiots of our time. Oh my gosh, Dan, you're rough on Stelter. Believe me, this guy deserves every bit of this. He is a character-free individual who, when we find ourselves in the grasp of tyranny, I am not kidding, you're going to look back on people like Stelter, who helped usher it in. Anti-free speech, anti-civil liberties, anti-freedom advocates who were too stupid to figure out they're being used. Here's Stelter, who, notice, she's talking about a truth commission. What does Stelter do right away, Joe? He has to inject, hey, it's about far-right media, right? With a wink and a nod. You don't believe me? Check this out. Here's part 2.
And we know that when you look at violence around the world, it often corresponds to when you have new technological systems, like when you look at the role that the radio played in the violence and genocide in Rwanda, the role that Facebook posts played in the genocide of the Rohingya in Myanmar, Burma.
Right.
We know that these kinds of technological systems, when you have the ability to communicate in a different way, often also correlate to what we're seeing here in the U.S. with the rise of this extremist ideology.
So you're describing the impact of cell phones and this constant connectivity, social networks, and far-right television networks, all of which you're saying are fueling a fire.
Do you believe this? This was a serious segment on a show that has an audience, even though it's small. It's not irrelevant. He's on a show called Reliable Sources, proposing a truth commission because he's not reliable and he has no sources. He doesn't realize he's being used by government tyrants to impose government tyranny because he's too dumb. And then he lumps in and suggests that firing the flames, or whatever he says, gassing the flames. In other words, suggesting that these items he mentioned, Joe, are a problem. And what does he mention? Cell phones, social media sites, and far-right media. Did he just really say that? The answer is yes, he did. You can rewind it and listen yourself. I mean, I'm not, this is, my gosh. Useful idiots, folks. They are everywhere.